This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Hi everybody, I hope you're having a terrific week. I've read some interesting and very fun books this past month and whatever amount of time. Let's cut the chit chat and get straight into it, alright? The first book I read this year was a bit of a surprise to me. I read this because Nadia read this a while ago and she really liked it, and I wanted to see, and it was very popular at the time, I wanted to see what the fuss was about. The book is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides? I don't know how to pronounce that. I think it's Greek. I have some thoughts on this. It was a fast read. The chapters are really short, which I like. Light on description, straight to the point. Look, the reason you read this book is for the twist. There's a huge twist on the back of the book. It's like, oh, you're a thriller fan? You have no idea what's coming for you. You'll never see it coming. And no, I didn't see it coming, but felt a little cheated. Felt like a bit of a trick, but I don't want to get into it. I did really enjoy the book. Actually, me and Nadia recorded a chat about the book, an in-depth conversation about it, which will be appearing on a new channel very soon. There's going to be an official announcement about this later and stuff, but second channel incoming. Look for that. So I'm not going to talk any more about The Silent Patient. The next book I read was just a blind buy at this bookstore I like to go to. I think it's called Skylight Books. And I've never read any Patricia Highsmith books. She's the author of the Ripley novels, Talented Mr. Ripley, Ripley's Game, Ripley Underground, all those books. She wrote Carol or The Price of Salt. Anyways, I had never read any of her work, and this was a book that they had there, not her most famous book. I wish I had been a little less impulsive, honestly. This was not the book for me. It's called Those Who Walk Away. And the reason I picked it out, I think, is because it's set in Venice. I like reading books in places that are set where I've visited. You have a better mental picture of what's going on. It's like you're getting to revisit the trip a little bit. And the premise of the book was so interesting. It's like a cat and mouse chase. Two guys trying to kill each other, but it's the father-in-law and the son-in-law. The reason I don't recommend it is because it doesn't go much beyond the premise, and I think that may have been the point that she was trying to make. Look, the writing was beautiful. I loved following the characters. The reason I stuck with it for so long was because I felt like there was more. I liked the characters. I liked the setup. I liked the general tone. It was just a dark, kind of brooding tone, but what didn't work for me was that it was almost like an anti-thriller. It almost becomes comical, and I don't know if it was intentional or not. Boring, so boring, and frustrating. The characters were not acting like characters. They were almost too realistic in that they did nothing. You have a character who is comically over the top, like, I'm gonna kill you, and then you have the other character who is ineffective, not gonna do anything, just, oh, you're gonna try to kill me again, oh no, I guess I should probably avoid you. This father-in-law is targeting the son-in-law repeatedly to kill him, pushes him off a boat into the ocean, freezing water, to die. And this guy just disappears. It's called Those Who Walk Away. You know, he just disappears in Venice, makes it seem like he died, and it's kind of playing these mind games with the father-in-law because you think he's gonna have enough. He's been shot. He's been thrown into the water. Later, he gets almost hit over the head with like a crowbar, a piece of pipe. You think this guy's there's gonna be enough. He's just gonna be like, no more. I'm coming after you. It doesn't happen. There's no catharsis. It's just like, well, I guess he'll never understand me. Kind of regret that this was the first Highsmith book I read. I don't regret reading it. I did get something from it. Now, after reading Those Who Walked Away, not very bloody, it's just very much in the head. I needed something to get me excited. Who else better than Jean-Patrick Manchette? French crime writer, wrote in the 70s, the 80s. I've talked about him a bunch. The New York Review of Books, they put out a number of his books, and a very new translation they just put out is called I don't even know how to pronounce it, the Gustro affair. It's new, so it's new, but it's old. I think it was his breakout book, actually. It's a bizarre book. It's really bizarre. It's quick. It feels like a movie. The writing is just like blunt and to the point, and like, you're not going to read this kind of writing now from anyone. Classic noir kind of like setup of the guy's recording the story of his life on a tape player right before he dies. It's like double indemnity. But this is based on an actual political event that happened, the assassination of I forget who it was, but of a revolutionary, leftist revolutionary, his assassination, and the scandal that surrounded that. This book is written from the point of view of a really nasty sicko. Well, he's just a criminal. He's just like a delinquent kid. He just like gets into trouble. He doesn't have like a bad upbringing. He's just like a bad person. And he gets involved in fascist groups and like the political organizing and in college and stuff. And he joins the fascists not because he believes in anything. He doesn't believe in anything. He just likes beating up the anarchists and the communists. It's very sex focused. Like this guy, all he thinks about is like sex. He ends up becoming the bodyguard of this revolutionary. He's tricked into helping kill this revolutionary because he wants to make a movie. So it's why I don't really know what to think about it. It doesn't feel very focused. It's kind of all over the place. Those manchette books, I could just dive into them and just be immersed. Kind of like when I dive into Skillshare. You like what I did there? Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity with Skillshare. I've been using Skillshare, obviously, and finding some really interesting classes. I've been very much into writing and writing routines and craft and stuff like that. I like learning about writers. I found a really great course, actually, that's all about writing routines. It's called The Writer's Toolkit, 6 Steps to a Successful Writing Habit by Simon Van Boy. It's about setting a good routine that works for you, finding very practical. And that's what I like about writing advice. That's what I look for. And there's all sorts of great writing courses. There's like science fiction, fantasy courses, all that sort of stuff on Skillshare. And what I like about it is that you can take it in bite-sized chunks, or you can watch the whole thing over, you can just binge it. It's curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads. They're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused. Skillshare now offers classes in Spanish, French, Portuguese, and German. The first 1,000 people to click on the link in the description get Skillshare for free for 1 month. Yeah, so check it out. The next book I read is called Hitman. Just Hitman, by this writer, Lawrence Block. I don't know how I stumbled into Lawrence Block's writing. I think it was through Donald Westlake. Anyways, he collaborated a few times with Lawrence Block, and I just kind of heard Lawrence Block discussed. I saw some of his interviews with Craig Ferguson, and it's called Hitman, and I didn't realize that it's actually a collection of short stories. They kind of tie in together and create a longer narrative, but it's very episodic. Put together, they make a nice little novel. Hey, I don't have that much time to read, but I can get through one of these stories, and each chapter is like 10 chapters, so like 10 different stories. Really compelling. I love these stories. They're so well written. It's so clear, to the point, crisp, cutting out all the fat, lean. I love it. I love this kind of writing. Dialogue is smart and it's funny but dark. It reminds me a lot of Barry, one of my favorite TV shows. Interesting moral situations. It becomes like a thing. Like there's one story where there are 2 guys hire him to kill each other and they don't know it. So he's on an assignment, and he's tasked with, he basically has to decide which one to kill, one client or the other, and he's trying to figure out, what would be fair. So he starts talking to the friends and family of these guys who we may kill to decide, okay, I'll just kill the worst guy. Well, neither of them are really worse. So he's thinking, well, he loves his dog. This guy loves his dog, the hitman, and his name is Keller. So he starts asking them, well, how do they feel about dogs? So he's trying to figure out, like, okay, if one likes dogs, then I'll kill the other guy who doesn't like dogs. But he can't decide and ends up just killing them both. I'm definitely going to be reading more Lawrence Block very soon. And finally, speaking of writing advice, writing routines, I read possibly the greatest book of writing advice ever. And it's Lawrence Block. And it's just called Writing the Novel. And it takes just piece by piece every element, characters, story structure, pace, chapter length, revisions, everything very practical. That's what I love in a writing book. I don't like reading books about writing that are like just divine inspiration. That's why I love Brandon Sanderson's lectures so much, is because it's just very much like, if you want to know how to write a good character, this is how. There are things you can know. There are techniques. It's a craft. Lawrence Block has some amazing advice. One of my favorite things in there is about you start a story and you start from the beginning, but he says, one of the best things to do is just, and one of his editors, I guess, at some point in his career said, switch to the second and the first chapter. You can change the transitions a little bit, but you just need to get the character. Just need to get the readers engaged immediately. It's just great. Yeah, I love it. Any of his writing books, I'm sure they're all great and cover a lot of the same stuff. Long story short, that's what I've been reading lately. Hope you're having a good year so far. Don't stress about your reading goals. Just read whatever. Don't read a book that you don't want to. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one.